Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Are all your exams over?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Now we'll continue with the chapter Human Development. We've reached the portion Overview of Developmental Stages. Those who are absent in the last class, please note. We'll be discussing or we'll be starting with Overview of Developmental Stages from today. Is the context of development clear? One is a Western view and the other one is in kind of Indian view by Durganand Sinha. Who proposed the other theory?
Bronfenbrenner.
Bronfenbrenner. Okay, Yuri Bronfenbrenner was the person who proposed the contextual view of development, the 5 systems. Okay, yes. Do you remember the lifespan perspective points? Yes, that we learned with the story. Yes, which was the first point? Abdul. Hmm? Do you remember any point from lifespan perspective?
Ma'am, lifespan is very long.
Very long or
Lifelong.
lifelong? Lifespan, the development is a lifelong process. That was the first point. And similarly, we have all the 7 points. Try to learn that, okay? All right, we'll start with overview of developmental stages. Now, before starting, we all know that there are different stages for human development, isn't it? We have been discussing that for a very long time now. And there are certain characteristics which are specific to or specifically assigned to certain developmental stages. Like in infancy, you're supposed to do this. In childhood, you're supposed to do this. In teenage, we don't say teenage, we say adolescence. In adolescent stage, you're supposed to do this, or you're supposed to achieve these milestones. In adulthood, you're having another characteristic, and in old age, again, you're having other characteristics. Okay, so we have a social expectation. Like if we are discussing about a single person or a case, we're taking a case of a person and then we are discussing the developmental stages, we have an expectation from that person that this person should be able to speak by this age, or this person should be able to show the signs of school education at this stage, or this person should show emotional maturity at this stage. Yes, we all have an expectation. And similarly, other people also expect from us, because we are also going through these stages, isn't it? Stages of human development, because again, we are all humans. So these social expectations of certain characteristics in different stages, they are called developmental tasks. Okay, these are known as developmental tasks. Okay, now we'll start with it. Overview of developmental stages. That is the next topic. And from here onwards, we'll be starting with the stage, each stage in human development, starting from infancy or the prenatal stage till the old age and finally death. This whole chapter is divided like that. So, development occurs in periods or stages that we already discussed. Then stages assumed to be temporary. In human development, stages are assumed to be temporary. That is, one person is not always being in the childhood stage, isn't it? Although we wish if we could go back to the childhood or the infancy stage, we cannot stay there for long. After we achieve the maturity, after we achieve the developmental tasks, after we achieve or overcome all those challenges, then we move on to the next stage of human development. That is a law of nature. So stages are assumed to be temporary in nature. They are not permanent in any person's life. Okay. Now, often characterized by dominant feature or leading characteristic. That also I told you. Suppose when we consider infancy, when the stage before childhood, Okay, before the school going age, we have certain characteristics, isn't it? Certain characteristics, the innocence, the naughty behaviors of the child, everything defines that particular stage. Yes, there is again, as I told you, a social expectation that this is how a child or this is how an infant should behave. Okay, so it is often characterized of it is often means each stage is characterized by dominant feature or leading characteristics. Now, goals to be achieved in each stage. That also I told you there are certain goals or tasks or challenges in each stage which we have to overcome or which we have to achieve. For example, in adolescent stage, we have to form an identity. Hmm? Uh, it's just like answering the question, who am I? If you get a positive feedback from your environment, from your peer groups, from your parents, and from your close ones, then you tend to have a high self esteem. And then you tend to develop a positive self identity. This happens in the adolescent stage. It is a stage of confusion. The stage in which you are right now, it is the stage of confusion. When we study about adolescence, you'll understand. And again, you might be experiencing that sense of tension, strain, confusion, and everything because you are in a transition period from childhood to adulthood. Okay. And because of that, you have certain goals. And one of the main goals in adolescent stage is to achieve the self identity, a good positive identity. Okay, so just like that, any stage that we consider in human development, it has its own goals and aims and tasks. Okay, then the progress to next stage. After completing the goals, after completing the developmental task, they progress to next stage. Any individual progress to next stage. Okay, now, time and rate varies. Again, that is also an important point to discuss because if we say that teenage or maybe 13 or 14 is the age of puberty where one individual achieves sexual maturity, then we cannot say that an individual does not achieve sexual maturity by the age of 12. Because in recent studies, it has shown that the age of puberty has lowered, which means puberty happens earlier nowadays in individuals. Okay, so we cannot say that it is a definite time period for anything, any developmental task. We can only say a range for each developmental task and for each developmental stage. Suppose if a child who has not performed all the tasks that they should in the childhood stage and they have become an age of maybe 13, 14 or something because they technically speaking they are in the teenage or the adolescent stage, but if they have not achieved the task that they are supposed to achieve in the childhood stage, they cannot go to the next stage. Okay, so just because the child is of age or the person, the individual is of age 14 or maybe 16 or 15, we cannot say that the person has become an adolescent. Or maybe if the person has become, technically, what is the age to become an adult? Legally, what is the age?
18.
18. When a person or when an individual achieves 18 years of age, then that means that person is legally an adult. Okay, you have the right to vote and so many other, what do you call them? So many other privileges. Yes, so many other privileges. You get so many other privileges when you attain the age of 18. But when the person is not socially and emotionally mature, and when the person is not behaving like an adult, when the person is not having the emotions, when the person is not having the thoughts of an adult, obviously that person is still in the adolescent stage or maybe even in the childhood stage. Some people say to others, no, just grow up for God's sake, even to adults. Yes, that is because of this. They have not achieved the developmental tasks properly. Okay, so we cannot say that there is a definite time period for a particular stage. There are no clear cut divisions between one stage and the other. It is a continuous process. Okay. Then development tasks at each stage that I already told you. Developmental task means or development task means It's given in page number 69 through 70. There are certain expectations from us, from every human being at each particular stage of development. And those social expectations are generally referred to as developmental tasks. Development tasks. Okay. So this is just an introduction to all the points that we are going to study. We'll consider each stage in particular and study what all developments happen in that particular stage. Okay. So we'll start with the first stage. You know the name of the first stage?
Infant stage.
Infant stage, yes. But infant stage is after the child is born, isn't it? But before the child is
And
born,
then
it's still
fetus.
yeah, fetal stage. In biology, we say the fetal stage, but in psychology, sorry, not psychology, it's psychology. In psychology and human development, we say that as prenatal development or prenatal stage. Prenatal means pre means before birth. Prenatal means before birth. The first stage that we're going to study is prenatal stage. That is from the point the sperm and the ovum fuses to form a
Zygote.
zygote. Very good. So zygote develops into the fetus, isn't it? Yes. We also give the names embryo also for that initial stages. Okay. So prenatal stage means it is the time period from conception to birth. After birth, we consider that stage as infancy. Okay. And when you, if at all you are searching in Google to learn more about these stages, you will see different stages like after infancy, maybe we are studying childhood as such, the whole, but it may be given as early childhood, late childhood, and so on, early adulthood, late adulthood. Similarly, there are certain divisions for childhood and adolescence and adulthood as such, but we are learning only about the main characteristic features. Okay, so we'll start with prenatal, infancy, then childhood, then adolescence, then adulthood, then old age, finally death. Okay, these are the stages that we are going to deal with. So first stage is the prenatal stage. So now on, don't write the infancy stage first. This is the first one, prenatal stage. The stage before, even before the child is born, that is the prenatal stage. It lasts almost 40 weeks. Generally, we say 38 to 40 weeks. Pass around 40 weeks. Then, like any other stage, this is also affected by both genetic and as well as environment factors. Genetics you have learned enough in the last year, isn't it? The cross and the development and chromosomes, everything. So you already know that genetical factors affect them. Now there are also environmental factors that might affect the development of the child, like in these whole stages. Okay. So prenatal stage, it is lasting for almost 40 weeks. It's the stage from conception till birth. Now, these are the general stages of development. Again, this hearing begins, all those are the physical development of the child. Okay, other than physical development, we'll also be dealing with the other dimensions of development in the coming stages. Then, another important topic in prenatal stages, factors affecting prenatal development. Factors affecting prenatal development. There are three main factors given in the textbook. These are the three: maternal characteristics, disease or infection carried by the mother, and finally, teratogens. Fancy name, isn't it? Maternal characteristics. What do you mean by maternal?
The characteristics.
Whose characteristics?
Others.
Mother's characteristics. Yeah, maternal means it's referring to the mother's side. Okay, so maternal characteristics. Just take page number 70. That's a small paragraph given about prenatal stage. There you have all these points. Okay, maternal characteristics, disease or infections carried by the mother, and also teratogens. Now let's see. First one, maternal characteristics. One point that you have to notice: the mother's age. Mother's age can influence the development of the fetus. Okay, and how can the mother's age influence the development of the fetus? Or why do we study this as a point, as an important point? Have you heard of anything related to mother's age and pregnancy and the child?
If the mother is really young, then the child won't be fully developed because the mother itself hasn't developed.
Mother is too young, then
Like in cases of teenage pregnancy and all, the children often are really they die often. So
Yeah.
that's because the mother hasn't really developed.
yes, exactly. And the thing you have to notice: early pregnancy and late pregnancy, both are having so many risk factors than the normal age. Okay, like the teenage pregnancy, again, the what do you call, the mother itself is in a development stage, not completely become an adult to take care of the child, and also the body will be in the developmental or the growing period. Okay, that is one problem. Then late pregnancy is also a problem after 30, 35 or so. Even now, after in the current scenario, when we are considering even after 30s, it's there are more complications than before, than the earlier periods or earlier years. Okay, and again, it's because of so many other factors like lifestyles, the food styles of people, and other things. Okay, so one thing that you have to notice: one maternal characteristic, one important maternal characteristic is the mother's age. Early pregnancy and late pregnancy both are dangerous. Both are not exactly dangerous, but it involves risk. Okay, then next point is nutrition. Nutrition means the amount of nutrients available for the mother. If the mother is not eating anything, then obviously that will influence the child, isn't it? And if the mother is always consuming junk food and fast food, again, that is going to influence the development of the child, development of the fetus. There's also one problem. Malnutrition is also another problem. Like in very, if the mother is living in a social status which is very much low, without any facilities, where they don't even get proper food, then malnutrition can occur. Again, the child has risk factors. The development of the child has risk factors. Then next one is emotional state. Emotional state means like if the mother is suffering from anxiety, depression, and all those factors, it can adversely influence the development of the fetus. Okay, that is the third point. So 3 points are included in maternal characteristics. One is mother's age, the other one is nutrition, third one is emotional state. Okay, all this is related to the mother. You can write it generally. Just note these 3 points and you can write it as a general answer. No problem. Then second section was disease or infection carried by mother. The examples given in your text are rubella, that is which causes German measles. Then genital herpes, there is another one. Then human immunodeficiency virus, which is the disorder or the disease. HIV. AIDS. Yes, correct. Okay, so these are some of the examples given. Again, this can be an adversity for the development of the child inside the womb. Again, German measles, it's causing red rashes like this. in the skin. Then genital herpes in genital areas, they'll have sores and pain, extreme pain, itching, and all those other symptoms of genital herpes. HIV, you already know. The immune system, it will lose its power to fight against the pathogens. Pathogens means disease-causing agents. Again, these can affect the development of the infant, not the infant, fetus. Okay. Now this is the third section, teratogens. Have you heard of this word, teratogens, before? Teratogens. No. It's a new word. Yes, Samal Roshan?
Fetus, in fetus, it is anomalies was there. In fetus.
What anomalies? Okay. Any other point? Okay, we'll just see the definition and then discuss. Teratogens, they are generally environmental agents that cause deviations in normal development that can lead to serious abnormalities or death. Okay, death of whom? Here we are considering the fetus. Okay. So they are the environmental agents. I'll show you the screen. Just wait. We'll discuss and then I'll share the screen. So in your opinion, what are the general environmental agents that can influence the development of the child and can even cause death, can be fatal to the fetus?
There is slip down, it can cause child death also.
If there is a what?
Mother is not caring and slip down in the steps. Mother
Yeah,
may
fall down. When the mother falls down. Is that an environmental factor? Okay, let it be. Then,
Ma'am, climate.
climatic factors that can influence the mother's the physical condition, then can. Yes.
Pollutions, ma'am.
Pollutions, yes.
father
If the mother consumes alcohol while she's pregnant,
Yes.
and smoking is also there.
Yes, smoking, other drugs. Then, have you heard of fetal alcohol syndrome? Anywhere before? Fetal alcohol syndrome? No. Google and see. Fetal alcohol syndrome. Because I want you to see the picture also along with that. Fetal alcohol syndrome. FETAL. Fetal alcohol syndrome.
Ma'am, it causes brain damage and growth problems.
Brain damage and growth problem in the
The fetus.
fetus. And
Because-
why is this syndrome caused?
Ma'am, because of the mother's excessive alcohol consumption during pregnancy.
Yes. If the mother consume excessive alcohol, not even excessive alcohol, for some cases, even a small amount is enough. Do you know that how many of you like consuming wine, grape wine or any kind of wine, especially during Christmas? No, you're free to say. Even I like. Do you know that it contains more alcohol content than the beer? Did you know that?
Yes, ma'am.
Kevin would know. I'm asking the others. Actually, wine contains more, generally, okay, generally the wine contains more alcohol content than the, what do you call, the beer and so many other things. So, even if this mother consumes wine during pregnancy, that can also be dangerous for the child, for the fetus. Okay. So fetal alcohol syndrome, I just told you an example. That is one problem that can cause when the mother consumes excessive this alcohol. And indirectly also, if the mother is consuming alcohol, like not in the alcoholic form, but in food items, if like in some cakes and all, like in cakes and other patisseries, they include the amount of alcohol. It improves the taste, but still, again, it might cause problems for the fetus. Okay. So teratogens that are mentioned in here, they are generally drugs, alcohol, etc. Then radiations. Where have you seen radiations? What kind of radiations can be harmful for the fetus? Yes. Which all rays do you know?
X-rays.
X-rays, then sun's rays. Yeah, X-rays are especially harmful for the pregnant ladies as well as the fetus inside. Okay. So generally, if again during pregnancy, if there is a situation where they have to go for a checkup and undergo this X-ray radiation, they have to wear a special suit and then only get exposed to those rays because they are very harmful for the fetus. Okay. That is again one example. Again, nuclear radiations, all those things are again harmful for the development of the fetus. You know the case of endosulfan, right? Endosulfan?
The village.
Yeah. And
Forest, yes.
you might have seen the pictures. It's not related to radiation. When it just came to my mind, I'm telling it. It is also one of the teratogen factors. Okay, again, it's coming from the environment, isn't it? What was endosulfan? You know endosulfan, but what is endosulfan? What was endosulfan? Please unmute and say. Even if it's wrong, it's okay. Not too sure.
Sulfan is a pesticide, I think so.
How many of you think so? Yeah, endosulfan was a pesticide. So again, you might have seen how the growth has been affected by the people living around, isn't it? So again, when the fetus is inside the womb, also you can understand how sensitive it would be to the environmental factors. Okay. So the first point was drugs, alcohol, etc. Anything. It can come. I mean, any drug can come under this category. Not only alcohol and tobacco, but other factors also. Then radiations. As I told you, the most famous example is X-rays. Exposure to X-rays. Then pollutants, as Abhijit said. The pollutants. Pollutants means, what do you mean by pollutants?
Pollution like smoking.
I'm asking the word meaning of pollutants. What are pollutants?
Certain gases that are harmful.
Gases that can be harmful. Any other answer?
Pollution particles.
Have to be gases, right?
Hmm?
Pollutants don't always have to be gases, right? They can be solids.
Yes. Any factor that can cause pollution, they are called pollutants. Okay. Understood? Like when you're telling some truth to somebody else and your friend or maybe one of your classmates is coming in and mixing some spice into it, adding some spice into it, maybe a rumor. That is again a pollution. isn't it? That whole process is a pollution. The truth is being polluted by a lie, okay, or a partial truth. So this lie can be a pollutant. Understood the example? So any factor that can cause pollution can be named as a pollutant. Generally in environment we say the smokes, the gases, the harmful gases, everything that is being exposed into the air, which this pregnant lady breathes in, that can cause pollution, isn't it? Again, it's causing pollution. It can be harmful for the fetus inside. It is the main point. So again, what are teratogens? They are environmental agents. They are not the biological ones. Okay, they're coming from the environment. Always note that. So environmental agents that cause deviations in normal development that can lead to serious abnormalities or death of the fetus. And also sometimes it can be of the mother too. Okay. And because of these teratogens, so many other problems can happen, like preterm birth. What do you mean by preterm birth? Yes, Emmeline, you're telling something?
It
Before the time period.
before 9 months.
Before 9 months or before the time period. We call that gestation period. You know that name? Gestation period means the pregnancy period. That is called the gestation period. The time period in which the fetus is present inside the mother's womb. That period is called gestation period. So before the complete gestation period or before completing the entire term, if the child is born before that, so we call it preterm birth. That can be one complication other than the death. Okay. The ultimate thing is the death of the fetus. The teratogens can lead to, yes, Amal?
Preterm can cause the growth problems.
Yes. Yeah. Again, preterm means the proper growth has not been achieved by the fetus, isn't it? After proper growth and development, after that gestation period only, normally the child comes out of the womb, isn't it? But preterm means the proper period has not been completed. So proper growth won't be there. There might be problems. Again, another problem can be the complications, other complications, like other complications in development itself. As we discussed in fetal alcohol syndrome, the brain development can be affected. Then the lungs, the heart, the internal organs, the vital organs of the body, they can be affected. Okay. So that can be other problems. Then mental retardation. In some individuals, it causes mental retardation. Then what else? Physical features. In some individuals, it's clearly visible in the physical features. The tongue, the nose development. In some individuals, again, nose and the lip be together, isn't it? They have to undergo surgeries. It can be because of teratogens. Not necessary, but still, it can be. Then the improper development of the ears. Some people do not have a proper development of ear on one side. Have you seen that? Yeah, it'll be very small. They won't be able to hear also properly. Okay, so these are some of the problems that these teratogens can lead to. Okay, so we studied about the prenatal stage and start from the beginning. We started with overview of developmental stages, and we saw that it happens in certain periods or stages. It is temporary in nature, not permanent, because one person has to shift or transit from one stage to the other. Then often characterized by dominant features or leading characteristics. For each stage or for each, what do you call, the period, there are certain developmental characteristics. Okay. Then there are certain goals to be achieved by the individual in each stage, that is particular to each stage. Then they progress to the next stage. That is, after achieving the goals, they progress to the next stage. Then time and rate of each stage varies, which means we cannot say that there is a clear-cut division between one stage and the other. And there is after 5 months you will become an adult, or after 6 months you will become the child. Or you cannot say that one day if the person is going to sleep as a child, person is going to bed as a child, and tomorrow when he wakes up becomes an adult or an adolescent. It's not happening like that, isn't it? It's a gradual process. There is no clear cut division between the stages. Then last one, developmental tasks are there for each stage. Developmental task means again social expectation. Please take page number 69, the last line. These accomplishments of a person become the social expectations of that stage of development. Please underline that sentence. They are known as developmental tasks. Underline that also. Should I repeat? I'll repeat once more. Page number 69, last line. These accomplishments of a person become the social expectations of that stage of development. They are known as developmental tasks. All right. Okay. Then we saw the prenatal stage. Prenatal stage means it's the stage or it's the time period from conception to birth. Then it lasts almost 40 weeks. Generally, we say 38 to 40 weeks. If a range is asked, write 38 to 40 weeks. Then it is affected by both genetic and environmental factors. So the teratogens will come under which section? Genetic or environmental?
Environmental.
Environmental, yes. Then this is the basis. So in 9 weeks, fetal stage begins here. It will be like this. Then in 12 weeks, the sex organs are differentiated. The fetus develops into a male or female. That is differentiated in, or by a time period of 12 weeks. Then 16 weeks, fingers and toes develop. In 20 weeks, the hearing begins. And lungs begin to develop by 24 weeks. Again, these are also general ones, general developmental tasks. Okay, they are not again clear cut. If a child or if a fetus is not started to get this by 20 weeks, the parents get worried, isn't it? Again, there might be a variation. It can take maybe 21 weeks, or it might happen within 18 or 19 weeks also. So there is no clear cut division. Then by 28 weeks, the brain grows rapidly, and 32 weeks, bones fully develop. Then muscles develop. Then full term development occurs by this 36 to 40 weeks. In that time period, the whole development of the fetus occurs. And finally, they are ready to come out of the womb. Okay. Then we saw the factors that affect the prenatal development, especially the fetus. There are 3 sections of characteristics of factors. First one is maternal characteristics. Second one is disease or infection carried by the mom. Then third one is teratogens. Okay. Maternal characteristics, what all did we see?
Nutrition.
Now, nutrition,
Mother's age.
mother's age. One more.
Emotional state.
Emotional stage or emotional stability, everything comes there. Okay, and psychological problems are also included in that section, emotional issues and all. Okay, disease or infections, which all did we see? German measles caused by? Caused by? Don't tell me secrets, unmute and speak, no?
Rubella.
Rubella, yes. Then, after that, genital herpes and HIV, which causes AIDS. Okay. Now, third one was again teratogens. So this is it, mother stage, nutrition, emotional state. And this point, when you're elaborating, please write that the risk factors are involved in early pregnancy and late pregnancy, especially. Okay. Pressure cooker. From where is it? Can you all mute? Or is it my problem? Gone. Did you hear the disturbance? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So mother's age is one thing. Malnutrition, include that point in this nutrition part. And again, overeating is also one problem. Okay, in that pregnancy period. Then emotional state, I told you, anxiety. You can write the examples: anxiety, depression, and so on. If it is a single mom, if she has lost the partner, then that can be very much depressive for that particular lady, isn't it? So that can influence. Then if she is not getting proper support from the family, proper care and attention from the family, that can also again affect the emotional state of the mother. So similarly, there are different problems that is occurring in that section, emotional state. Again, have you heard of the depression that occurs during this pregnancy period? Postpartum depression, you might have heard, but that is after birth. After childbirth, some ladies might experience postpartum depression because of childbirth. Again, it's because of the hormonal imbalances. Okay. When a life is growing inside the womb, again there are differences in the hormonal, the amounts, isn't it? The whole physical part, or the biological part, the physiological part to be precise, changes of the mother. So that is always affecting the emotional state in turn. We learned how this is influenced, isn't it? When we studied about the brain structures, the neural systems and all. Which was the system that deals with the emotions in the brain? What was the name of that system? Starting with L.
Limbic system.
Limbic system. Okay, good. All right. So we saw the diseases, rubella, genital herpes. Learn with the spellings, okay? Because this would come in term 2. So obviously you'll have to learn the spellings. I hope so. Then teratogens. Also we saw drugs, alcohol, etc. Radiations, pollutants. That's it. Okay. Any doubt? Any doubt in the topic? No. We have one more, right? Today? Yeah, we'll start with the infancy then. Okay. And by this month, we have to complete this chapter. It's a pretty long one. We'll see. Okay then, thank you.
Thank you,
Just a
ma'am.
minute, don't leave, don't leave. Let me mark the attendance, please. Left already. Thank you.